Hey guys, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools DIY channel. Please come on in and join the festivities. Today we're going to do something a little different. Okay, we're going to do something a little different tonight. Um, yeah, because it's nighttime on my side of the globe. Um, guess what? What we're going to do different is I'm going to stand up tonight. Why? Because I feel like it. I don't feel like sitting down tonight. So I'm going to deliver the live while standing up. And hopefully you guys appreciate that. I will try not to bounce around too much, but why not, right? Let's do it. So if you read the title, it says invest in yourself from now on. I'm going to make this brief, but I think this is very important to set the stage for what's going to be your future successes in the coming year, right? The year just popped off, and we want all of us say we want to be successful, say we want to accomplish our goals, but are we doing the things to make that happen? Or are we just flapping our gums like we did last year? I'm not saying you guys didn't accomplish anything last year, right? But let's take a bit further this year, and that's how it should be, right? Constant progression, constant advancement, constant achievement of your goals in increments. It doesn't have to be one big lump jump into success. Success is a matter of piling on the little victories, as we go along until you achieve whatever you're seeking to achieve. So that success means uh, different things to different people. Okay, but the principle remains the same. So tonight we're going to talk about some of the tools, right? This channel is all about tools, and I always said that tools are an extension of the mind. Tools are an extension of the mind. Any physical tool like this drill right here, right, or this hammer drill, or this regular drill, or whatever tool you come across in the building trades or whatever, it came out of the mind. It's something to enhance what we can't do with our physical hands, and that's the beauty of technology. That's what it's all about. But aside from physical tools, there are also what I call inner tools, right? So just as important as this hammer drill is to accomplish what you needed to accomplish, you also have other tools that you at your disposal, right? That you don't have to go buy at a store to help you build what's the most important thing to build, which is yourself. That's why it says invest in yourself first, right? Invest in yourself from now on. And why do I say first? I say first because if you don't build yourself, you can't build anybody else. So let's jump right into it. It's not going to be a long live, but stick with me, okay? And I guarantee you're going to get something out of this. So, what's the first thing you should do when you invest in yourself? Somebody tell me in the chat what's the first thing you should do when you invest in yourself. Set goals, guys. Set goals. If you jump in a car and you don't know where you're going, guess what? You're just going to be driving around forever. You're going to waste gas. And it's just going to be, you have to set goals. You have to have a direction, and that's all a goal is, right? It doesn't mean you have to hit it tomorrow, but you have a map. You have a map, that's laid out for you, right, to tell you where you want to go, and you create that map. Okay, and that's all a goal is to give you direction, right? Give you focus, because an unfocused life is a pretty much a failed life, if you want to use that term, right? Because the goal of any life, I would say, is to accomplish a specific purpose, and you have to find out what that purpose is. And once you decide on what that purpose is, you have to set goals, um, whether they're incremental goals, long term, short term goals, in order for you to achieve that particular purpose, right? My goal was to start this channel and educate people, to make everybody, 8 billion people on this planet, if I could, handy with tools, right? Because I mean, tools are great, and that's what I'm about. Able to build their own communities, contribute to their own communities with their hands, not just their heads. You need both, okay? And part of the purpose of this channel is to make the average person from 8 to 80, right? The average handy with tools, and that's what I'm all about. So that's my goal for this channel. Okay, so you got to set goals for your life as well, and it doesn't have to be so overwhelming. You can set daily goals, right? Hourly goals, short-term goals. It might just be to get up in the morning and work out, or do something positive, or do something that's going to benefit you instead of just laying in bed and letting the time slip by. Okay, so number one thing is to set goals. It gives you direction and it gives you focus. Okay, and that's very important because let's just say I'm on a shooting range and I'm aiming at the target and I get distracted from hitting it. I'm not going to hit my target, right? So I have to stay focused. I have to stay in the line of sight and I have to aim, but I also have to fire. So it's one thing to have a goal, but you have to pull the trigger. That means you got to take risks that you may have not normally have taken, right? You have to do that. You got to take risks. You got to, aim and fire. Okay, and even if you miss, you just got to keep at it until you hit it. And that's called resilience. It's called persistence. All right. What's the next thing, guys? Come on in. If you're getting something from this, which you will in the replay, I guarantee you I'm giving out some good information for you guys. Get your mind right so you can go crush it, as they say, this year, right? And all the coming years and all your endeavors, you can knock it out the park, okay? And you don't have to pay for it. This is free information. What's the next thing, guys? What do you think the next thing is? What do you think the next thing is, guys? Hold on a second here. All right. The next thing, guys, what you want to do is you want to find, if you're struggling to figure out your direction, first of all, you want to decide what that is. And then you want to find somebody who did it already. Makes sense, right? Because they went down that road and they know what it takes to accomplish that goal. Now, your road may not be the same as their road, but it's similar roads, right? They have different paths. They may have different backgrounds. They may have certain advantages that help them get there where you may not. You may have certain advantages, but the goal is to exploit the advantages that you do have, okay? So don't play. This is one time I agree with not playing the victim, because even in the worst situations, there are advantages that you can exploit to your benefit towards your goal. You just got to figure out what they are. You got to think outside the box. You can't necessarily, be woe is me all the time. You got to say, okay, I'm in this situation. It's not good. They seem like they're against me, but let me think outside the box and see how this can help me. Believe it or not, every negative situation, what we call negative situations, have the seeds of positivity in it, right? Everything is a seed, and you just got to plant it in the right mindset. You got to, which is the soil, right? It's your mindset. You got to plant it in the right mindset. But if you plant it in the wrong mindset, nothing's going to happen, right? So you got to think outside the box and say, okay, how can I take this negative situation and twist it and make lemonade out of lemons? And I guarantee you, every situation has that. Every situation has that, no matter what it is. So don't get caught in the complaining, the world of complaints, right? It just won't get you anywhere. It will drown you. It will drown your success. Okay. It will drown you from advancing. So yeah. So find somebody, okay. They call them mentors and all that, whatever you want to call them. Find somebody who did it before or who went down a similar path to you and try to model what they did. You don't even have to know this person. You can read about this person's story. You can watch videos on their story. You can listen to it. It could be a friend. It could be a seemingly unrelated life this person's living, but it has a similar pathway, if you know what I mean. They had to go through similar things, and then you can kind of glean from that. But if you happen to find somebody who you can speak to personally on a personal level, or at least get close to them or get in the same room with them, that's also good. So the more you take steps towards something with intention, it's funny how it works. The more that thing takes steps towards you. Now that may sound, kind of strange, but it's true. The more you take steps to something, the closer it gets to you. If I'm walking down the street and I'm trying to get to my house, as I'm walking, the house is actually getting closer to me too, right? It's if you get what I'm saying. So seek people out. Don't just sit on your couch and just read about it. Get up and try to seek out this information. Get up and make moves towards situations, rooms. Try to get in certain rooms. Try to get in around certain environments that's going to foster your growth and give you opportunities, right? So these opportunities just won't just fall in your lap. You gotta create your own opportunity, right? Opportunities are created; they don't just fall in your lap. They're created by you. Okay. Uh, this next one is a little bit on the. This is on the financial tip. You got to create a budget, right? Create a budget because your finances actually reflect your habits. It reflects your habits, and if you have sloppy habits, you have the habit of procrastination. You have the habit of thinking everything's going to come to you. Well, guess what? That's what your budget's going to look like. You're not going to have a budget to do anything, right? So you have to create one, and the way you really create a budget is by having a good work ethic, right? All money stems out of what you produced, right? What we call money, currency. It stems out of what value have you given the world? Like in this channel, hopefully I'm giving you guys a lot of value on this channel, and as a result, money is generated, right? Revenue is generated. So it's the same thing. If you want to increase or create a sizable budget so you can do things and risk things to become, to expand your territory, then you have to, you have to have the habits in place. This is all inner work. Inner work is what I'm talking about. This is the inner tools, guys, what I'm giving you tonight to help you, achieve what you want to achieve, because everybody's watching this, or who will watch it, or is within the sound of my voice, is going to hear. You guys all want something, right? You all want something out of your life. And if you say you don't, guess what? You do. Even the person sitting on their couch saying, "Hey, I don't really want anything out of my life. I just want to sit here. I just want to relax." That's what you want. You're getting what you want. So everybody desires something, or whether they know it or not. Okay. Next one, guys. What's another way to invest in yourself? Can somebody tell me in the chat? Please go ahead and participate. And you don't just have to listen to me talk. That's fine too. But I would love if you guys jump in and give me some ideas as well. Next one I got down, it says attend a conference or something like that. This past weekend, I just attended a conference myself. And it was all about, building your business and the tools that you need. And of course, when you go to these conferences, their whole goal is to sell you their products. And, they have people come on stage and talk about their successes, all the good stuff. But you sometimes you may say to yourself, are these actors or something like that? I'm not trying to be negative or anything like that, but if you've been burned a couple of times, you may think that. But guess what? I realized something this past weekend. Even if the people that come on these stages at these conferences with all the great successes and the millions of dollars they've made and this and that and the other, even if they were fake, even if they were actors, is that going to stop you or me from attaining those goals for real? I mean, are we going to just let negative thoughts of, oh, they're not real, it's not, that can actually corrupt your own success. So who cares if they were actors, right? I mean, people get inspired by fake stories all the time. People watch TV and they see superheroes and they think they can do that. Whatever that, person did, which was made up on TV, and they get inspired by that. So if you go to a conference with a negative mindset, then guess what? You're not going to get anything out of it. But so who cares? Who cares if they were, making up stories, which I don't think they were. I'm just saying, who cares, right? These things are possible. It's happened for many people, and you can do it yourself. So, and at the same time, these stories, you're surrounding yourself with people that have the same goals, right? They have personal goals for themselves, business goals, financial goals, and everybody's on the same plane. So just surrounding yourself with those individuals is good in itself, right? It's a benefit in itself. Who cares what people on stage are talking about, right? Everybody, when you get to talk to different people, you meet different people, and they all have their goals, and you kind of go back and forth and have a good exchange over, business or personal goals, or just meeting a person on a higher vibration raises your vibration, right? And at the end of the day, everything's about vibration and frequency and energy, right? Even a criminal with the most negative intentions succeed, right? They succeed because their motivation is strong. So it's not always about morality, and I don't want to get into that conversation. I'm not telling you to go out there and be a criminal or anything, but just understand that energy even helps everybody, right, to a certain extent. Now, of course, the criminal may run into, they'll run into issues at a certain point, because of their moral stance. They're going to run into universal laws that will cut them out or cut them down. But for someone who is not not thinking of harming someone or taking advantage of somebody, that energy can catapult you. The energy that you cultivate can catapult you to the highest heights of what you call success, whatever that means to you. Okay, guys, these are inner tools that I'm giving you guys that are free. You don't have to go to the hardware store, but they're kind of like the real tools, right? You could use them as a hammer to you can to build or nail in certain principles within the building, the temple that is yourself. And you could build that as strong and as tall as you want to build that. This one here has to do with health. Get enough sleep. That means different things to different people. Some people say 8 hours. Some people get by on 4. I'm not going to really touch too much on that one because it's different for different people, right? You may not need 8 hours of sleep. Maybe you're running on a different energy frequency than the average person, and all you need is 4 or 5. All right. But the point is, if you notice that your health is declining because of lack of sleep, then you may need to adjust that, right? If you have the mentality, I'll sleep when I'm dead type of thing, that's really not a healthy mentality to have. I know it's motivational, it sounds good, and it gets you going, but you definitely don't want that type of mentality, right? You want to give your body enough rest because this is the only vehicle that you have. This is your car, right? So if your car breaks down, you can't do anything, right? So your health comes first before anything else, right? That's the true success of health, not just physically, but mentally as well. All right, next one. Here's a way to invest in yourself. This is one of the best ways to invest in yourself, and that's to invest in other people. Invest in your community, okay? Whatever community that is for you, because at the end of the day, it's all about relationships. It's all about people. How are you helping people? How are you serving people? And it's not okay. You can have, I just want to make a lot of money. There's a lot of miserable people in the world with a lot of money. But the happiest people in the world are people that serve other people. And if you're going through whatever crisis that you're going through, one of the best ways to alleviate stress is to go help somebody else in a similar situation or just in a bad situation. And you kind of get a perspective. Okay, a lot of people are in worse situations than you are, regardless of how you look at it. Even a dead person may be in a so-called a better situation than someone who's suffering to the utmost degree on who's alive, right? So even death can seem like a a better situation, right? So one of the ways to invest in yourself is to invest in your community. Part of this, the purpose of this channel is to invest in my community. That's why I do this, right? That's why I teach people what I teach, and that's why I offer what I offer. And at the end of the day, the more you invest, the more returns you get. It's not about necessarily getting something back from people, but it's a natural law. The more you put in, the more you get out. So yeah, invest. Find something to invest yourself into besides yourself. Or at least shift your perspective on why you do things, right? Why am I doing this? Is it just for me? Or is it just, is what I doing, or is what I doing, okay, my English is getting messed up. Is what I'm doing helping other people out? Okay, ask yourself that. All right. Okay, let's see here. Here's another health tip. Move, get up, guys. I know some of you guys are working on your business, your startup, or whatever you're working on. And if you're not an athlete, you're probably sitting at a desk thinking about okay, the next move constantly, right? You're thinking about it, you're going to sleep thinking about it, and it goes back to not getting enough sleep, and it goes back to lack of exercise, right? You're so caught up in, okay, how can I, what's the next move that I have to make in order for this thing to work, whatever it is, and you're neglecting, just moving. Sometimes the best thing to do to get inspired or get creative insight on what you need to accomplish is to move, get outside, get some fresh air, walk, exercise, do something, right? Take a friend with you, talk while you're walking, get some sunlight. All this stuff contributes to a healthy mind, right? A good creative process, right? Things come to you, you know what I mean? So yeah, don't neglect that. Don't neglect doing some form of exercise, physical exercise, because the mind body union is a real thing, right? The body's not separate from the mind, and vice versa. So the actual physical exercise can help jog, help the brain, get those synapses firing, and you come up with some great ideas. Believe it or not, it's happened to me many times. All right, here's another one. Keep a journal. This is, I guarantee you guys, this is like, I know you hear people talk about it. Oh, you got to write things down, and it may seem, okay, writing stuff down, what's that going to do, right? Well, for one, writing things down objectifies the issue, right? It takes it out of your head, puts it on a piece of paper, and it can give you a lot more clarity than just keeping it in your head with a whole bunch of other thoughts, competing for your attention. So writing something down on a piece of paper, your goals especially, keeps you focused, right? It gets you out of the scrambled mind thing. And believe it or not, it can actually jumpstart a whole chain of creative ideas. That's why they have such a thing called creative writing, right? You start writing and you just let it flow, and all the ideas start coming out, brainstorming, things like that, right? And if you really want to tap into the whole writing thing, you may want to do it on a consistent basis, right? Keep a journal, right? I keep a journal, of sorts myself. It may not be every day, but I try to make it every week, right? Sometimes I fall off and I get back into it maybe a couple of weeks later, but I try not to let a week or 2 weeks go by before revisiting it and seeing where I am in terms of progress, right, in a particular area. And believe it or not, it does help, and it also boosts your confidence, right? Because it sees that, hey, I'm making steps, no matter how small, no matter how insignificant. These steps are helping me towards a goal, and when I accomplish that goal, I can actually go back and look at the journal and see what everything I've been through to get to that point. And it's a really good feeling. It shows, hey, look, I really made effort. Right? I really made effort. It didn't just happen. It's on paper right here. I documented the whole journey. I documented the process, and this was the result. And the great thing about that is you can show that to other people. And hey, this is the map, right? This is all the mistakes I've made. These are the good decisions I've made, and you can show people and they can learn from it too, right? So that's why people write books and whatever, right? So writing stuff down, keeping a journal is a very good tool that you can use to forge your way to your goals. All right, let's see. Chantel, hey Chantel, how you doing? Yeah, Chantel said these are life tools and we're all here to be of service to one another. Absolutely, Chantel. Love that. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So we can be of service to one another, right? I mean, who cares if you accomplish all these goals and you can't share it with anybody? You can't help anybody. You can't reach back and pull someone up. I mean, what's the point, right? I mean, the whole point of it is, the whole point of so-called success is to be able to impart whatever benefits that you've gained to someone who needs that, right? Somebody did it for you, so why not do it for them? That's the real money right there. That's the real money. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Where were we here? Okay. Be confident, guys. This confidence. A lot of people, and I mean, it goes without saying, a lot of people want things, but they don't have that one ingredient that they need to get to where they need to get to. Some people are afraid to learn how to drive, believe it or not. When if they learned how to drive, they conquered the fear of getting behind the wheel in a car in a big 2-ton piece of metal and learn how to drive, the world would be a much bigger place for them, right? But because they're not confident, their world is this small versus where it can be this big, right? So it's the same thing. That principle applies all over the place, right? If you're not confident enough to take risks, your world undoubtedly will remain this big. But if you're confident enough to take a risk and maybe fall flat on your face, right, barring getting killed or something like that, um, your world can open up to, I mean, expand beyond belief. And that's the power of confidence. That's the power of risk taking and believing in yourself. But if you don't know who you are, then of course you're not going to take a risk, right? Because your belief system is broken, right? So it's all, if you create the right belief system, right, knowing who you are, not just believing, but knowing who you are and what you're capable of, that will determine how big your world is, right? And it's as simple as that, right? So you got to conquer the fears that keep you limited in a limited world, around limited thinking people as well, in a limited environment. Okay. Some people never leave their neighborhood, right? And they're fine with that. Well, it shows you the diversity of of thought patterns in this world that we live in. Okay, which one do you want to be? It all depends on what you want and what you were brought. If you were brought up in an environment where that's all you know, then you have no desire to expand. You have no desire to leave the country or leave the state or leave your neighborhood, which is sad. But just decide who you want to be. I take it if you're watching this and you're still you're still listening to me, you're not a person that wants to stay limited, right? Because someone else who's a limited thinker would have automatically tuned out already. So, all right, here's another one, guys. Very important. Your environment, like my studio, I have tools everywhere, right? I still need to clean this up and organize it better. But your environment is actually a reflection uh, of your thoughts, right? Of your inner world. So if you don't have an organized environment, it's just a reflection of lack of discipline on some level. You can be a very successful person, by the way. That's not saying an unorganized person can't be successful. They hire people to organize stuff. They got the money to do that. But it's good to build a discipline of organization. Believe it or not, whether energy does flow, and if it's flowing through a disorganized environment, it can create, I don't know, it can create conditions where you're not as motivated, even on an unconscious level, right? Whereas an organized environment, it gets you motivated. Imagine walking into a classroom where all the desks are all over the place, paper on the floor, stuff thrown everywhere. Would you be motivated to learn in that environment? No. Part of you is going to be like, man, what's this place? This is not an environment for learning. They can't even stay organized. They can't even, even if you yourself was this disorganized or sloppy, even a sloppy person will walk into a room and say to themselves, that's a sloppy room. Imagine the hypocrisy of it. But it's, I'm just telling you, right? Organization, even in your physical environment, does wonders for moving to the next level, whatever level that is for you. Hopefully it's ahead. So look around your room. Do the basics of just looking around your environment. Say, okay, what can I clean up? What can I put in order? Because at some point a sloppy environment, a sloppy desk or something like that has to get at you at some point, right? If it doesn't get at you at some point, either you're not in that place all the time, right? Or you're in that place, a very small amount of time throughout the day that it doesn't matter to you. But if you're in there all the time and if it doesn't get to you, then something's going on. Something's going on. And I can tell stories about coming into houses, people's homes or whatever, their environments. And I mean, I'm talking about like, next level next level sloppiness. Okay, but who am I to talk? I still got to work on that myself. So yeah, learn how to declutter your environment, declutter your mind, throw all the trash out, physically throw the trash out, um, throw the trash out internally as well. What do I mean by that? Okay, take your internal shovel or whatever you need to take, and take out all the negative thoughts, all the limiting beliefs, um, all of that attachment to negative environments that either you were raised around it, or that's all you know. Um, Learn how to just revisit those things and look at it and say, okay, is this helping me get to where I need to get to? Right. Sometimes you got to get rid of certain people. I mean, I hate to sound that way. It could be your own family. Uh, Sometimes you need to get. It doesn't mean you don't love your family. It just means that they're not they're not helping you, right, get to where you need to get to. So sometimes you got to distance yourself away from them. I mean, distance yourself from them, or limit your time around certain people, because your need to please them is actually your fault, right? It's not their fault. They're just being who they are. Your need to please somebody, to show them, hey, look, I don't dislike you, all that stuff, and allowing them to take up so much of your time or fill your head with so much negativity because of your fear of hurting their feelings. That's not their fault that you won't be successful, or you won't get closer to your goals. Okay. So, and if they don't understand that, fine. Okay. You got to learn, just move on. All right. What's the next tool, guys? Investing training. It's simple. Educate yourself. I mean, if you have a specific goal I'm constantly educating myself for you guys, right? I don't know about every single tool, but I learn about it, and I come back to you guys and I present it to you in my way, with my style, with my whatever you want to call it, and hopefully you guys appreciate the knowledge. Okay, so I'm constantly educating myself, and hey, that's one of the biggest reasons to live, really, is to educate yourself and expand your knowledge base, so you can give that back, right? So you can give it back to your community. Once again, invest in your community, right? And so today it's so easy, right? I mean, you got Google. You know what I mean? You got Google. You got your phone with you all the time. This thing right here. There's no excuse for someone not to educate themselves about a particular subject, at least on some level, right? So there's no excuse for someone to remain ignorant. There's no excuse for someone to allow, certain things in this life to keep them down, right? You got to be like that rose that grew from the concrete, man. There's all kinds of, resistance out there. But you know what? Resistance is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, because it only makes you stronger. So those of us in this world who seek to oppress other people, you're just making them stronger. That's all you're doing, right? You're creating the person that will eventually conquer you, right? So go ahead and keep on, oppressing other people, if that's what you want to do, and because you're just making people stronger. It's like they're just going to the gym every day. Right? They're just going to the gym every day. That's all this is. Life is one big gym with all kinds of weights in it, right? All kinds of resistance machines in it, and they have, whether it's economic resistance, social resistance, all kinds of resistance, right? Political, whatever you want to call it. It's a gym, okay? And some people will fall by the wayside because they can't handle the resistance. That's just life. But there are going to be those who won't, right? That resistance is actually making them stronger, making them who they are. So, nobody really gets away with anything. Hone previous skills. Yes, guys, this is a good one too, because a lot of us think, okay, look, I need to become that, I need to become this, and they ignore that the skills that they already have that they could capitalize on and actually, multiply those skills, right? Because they're looking at the shiny object over there. They're looking at that guy over there or that girl over there who's doing that, and they want to do that, and they ignore their innate skills that will take them to the top. It's not that you can't look at that person and say, I want to do that, but if it's something totally different and you're just looking at them because they're doing something that you really have no interest in, but you see the success that they're getting. They're getting that success because they probably love what they're doing, okay, or they at least like it, where you don't even like it at all, right? Find something that you do like, find a skill that you do have already, and just grow that one thing or two things, and you become bigger than you thought you could ever become. But quit looking at the next man or next lady, okay? Just do your own thing, and you'll be all right. They're not you, and you're not them, okay? So okay, I did talk about invest in training. That's right. Always educate yourself, whatever that is. Here's one: learn a new language. Talking to a friend of mine today, and they were talking about learning a new language. Actually, it's not really new to them, but they they figure they'll hone that skill because it can help them in certain endeavors that they have. And me myself, I always loved learning foreign languages. As a matter of fact, one of my earliest goals in life was to be a translator because I just pick up language real quick without taking courses. I did take French all through my former years, but I'm more interested now in the like different languages like Middle Eastern languages, African languages, things like that. Took and to round myself out, even some indigenous languages. Language is very it's a great, when you study languages and the etymology of words, you'll find that even in the English language, there are so many root words that come from these foreign languages. So English itself is a mishmash of all these foreign languages, okay? Because it came from one part of the world and it spread, and it's just interesting. The study of phonics and sound and words and stuff like that. So yeah, learn a new language. It's not as hard as you think. It's all about, sometimes you can even understand what someone's saying and you don't even know the language they're speaking, right? Because you kind of feel the energy, you see the nuances of body language, and you kind of get what they're saying on an energetic level. It's almost telepathic, and that's a good way to learn languages as well. Is try to get into the study of languages from an energetic standpoint, from more of a empathic standpoint, okay, where you can kind of feel them out, and then you kind of attach the words, the sounds to a specific energy, and then just you can learn that way too. I'm around a lot of foreign language speakers, and I can sometimes understand what they're saying even though I don't speak the language. Here's a tool that I find very helpful as well. It says practice gratitude. Okay, guys, did you get up today and thank your creator for getting you up today or just existing? That's one of the best cleansing tools that you can use to start your day, right? Or even just have it as a daily practice throughout your life. Is to be thankful, even in what we call negative circumstances, to be thankful for that particular circumstance. You don't understand, with your limited perception, limited way of looking at things, why this thing is happening to you. But I guarantee you, it's a seed for a greater thing. Everything is a seed for a greater thing, right? And if you're thankful for that ahead of time, not knowing what the real reason is, that's when what they call the blessings happen. Because you know that out of this is going to come something, right? I mean, if you look at the mud, you drop a seed in the mud. That mud is it's mud, right? But guess what? A seed has to go into the dirt in order for it to sprout. You need that mud, and you can equate the mud to negative circumstances, right? Or very trying conditions, right? But that's what's needed for that seed to, that all that negative stuff is needed to fertilize that seed. All that mud is needed to fertilize that seed so it can grow. Without it, it's useless. That seed's useless. So, you're dropped into this world with all these conditions that are not not pleasant at all in a lot of circumstances. But it's the resistance that you need to grow that muscle or fertilize that seed. So everything really works in tandem together, right? Just a matter of perspective. Okay, I did hit on exercising, exercising that body, moving those muscles. Yeah, I mean, another way to look at exercise is, exercise the mind, exercise the mental muscles, right? Believe it or not, this is a muscle, and the type of workouts that you can present to your mind is like reading, studying something that may seem challenging to you, figuring out math problems, for instance. That's a really good way to exercise the mind, right? Study a form of mathematics that you didn't get to in school. Go pick up a book like a calculus book or an algebra book, trigonometry book. Try to figure it out. It's just a different language. Matter of fact, it's a universal language. And what I like about math and numbers is that they do not lie to you like people lie to you, right? I could pick up a history book and it's all a bunch of lies. But I can pick up a math book and I know it's not lying because numbers don't lie. So that's one thing you can't lie. So, all right. I did talk about learning new skills. That's another one. This channel is all about learning new skills. Learn how to use those tools properly, right? So you can build that house that you always wanted to build or whatever. Learn how to fix that car, right? You don't have to be sitting on the sidelines wishing you were one of those people that knew how to just fix things or good with your hands. You can do it. It's not as hard as you think. It's just a matter of being number one, like I said before, being confident enough to attempt the task. That's half the battle right there. Half the battle of anything is being confident enough to attempt the task and let the chips fall where they may. Okay. People talk about failure. Failure can be a fun thing, really. It can be an enjoyable thing. It depends on how you look at it, right? I mean, you wouldn't know certain things unless you failed, unless you quote unquote didn't hit that mark the way it was supposed to be hit. You wouldn't, if you hit something on the mark all the time, you're really not a master. I think you can define a master as someone who's experienced all sides of the spectrum. Failure, quote unquote, hitting the mark or success, more failure, different types of, not hitting the target, different, aspects of the game. That's when you're a master because now you can relate to all situations, right? So there's really no such thing as failure. It's just a different aspect of that thing, that particular experience, right? So, yeah, go for it. All right, this goes without saying. This is eat healthy. Your diet is very important. People talk about, okay, I'm a workout worker, but they eat garbage all the time. I've been guilty of it. Yeah, what you put in your body is definitely going to affect you, especially as you get older and stuff like that. So learn how to watch that. This is not a live about, what you should eat. Just understand that eating healthy is physically is just as important as working out. Okay. And now that we're talking about that, eating is not just putting food in your mouth. It's what you put in here too. Sometimes you got to reset your mind and look at, okay, what have I been putting in my head for the last year or two or three or four that's not been serving me, right? And whatever that is for you, it could be a lot of things, right? But if it's not serving you, if it's depleting your energy, if it's distracting you, if it's harming your relationship with others, with your family, then some of that's part of your mental diet that's unhealthy, right? And you need to get rid of that, right? If you want to move forward, it's all part of the baggage that sometimes we just need to leave behind or limit our intake of whatever that is, so we can continue going. Otherwise, it's gonna hinder us. Increase your creativity. How do you do that? That's another tool, guys. Creativity. Matter of fact, creativity is the core of everything, right? Each one of you watching this, you were created by something, right? And you can't, whether you believe that or not, If you know, you're creating yourself every day, yeah, and you're creating your experiences with the world, with other people, with the environment, with animals, all that stuff. You ever notice how animals can sense what type of person you are? Yeah, that's one thing. Another thing that don't lie is animals and numbers and math. So remember that. Those are two things you can trust, right? Because the animal, they don't care, right? They'll sniff you out and you know in a heartbeat. They're not as gullible as, I mean, I guess you can say they are in a sense, but when it comes to sensing people's energy, sensing, because we can hide our energy from other people a lot of times, unless you're a sensitive person. To some degree, we can hide it, right? Animals, they'll pick it up right away, whether you're trying to hide it or not. But anyway, back to creativity. Yeah, one of the ways to increase your creativity is to learn more, right? Because now you have more of an arsenal to pull from to add to your creative efforts, right? The less you know, the less creative you can be, you know. And sometimes that comes, you know, it's not. It just comes from an internal source. I get it, but it also helps to have, you know, external stimuli to help the creative process along, and that comes from reading. That comes from interactions with people, talking to people, finding out, you know, what makes them tick, finding out what makes you tick. So yeah, cultivate a sense of creativity. Approach situations, people, places, and things with a sense of creativity. And what could you make out of that situation that can either benefit them or, you know, just benefit the, you know, the everybody, including yourself. Invest in your future. Everything I said today so far is an example of investing in your future, right? What is the future? What is the future? Future, all the future is really is the, it's a combination of decisions that you make now, right now in this moment, as you're watching this right now. Your decision to listen to me from the time I started this up to now is a, you know, that was a decision that's going to help you, right? That's a decision. Your decision to watch the videos on this channel is going to help you, right? That's an investment. That's an investment into your future. Okay, that's going to help you become somebody else or someone that you're not, that you weren't before, right? Because you're going to gain new things to add to your arsenal to help, you know, to help you create, right, and help you serve other people. So that's what it's all about. Commit to learning something new every day. Doesn't mean you got to read a book all the time to learn something new. It could just be sitting back and contemplating about, you know, a life or about a certain situation and having that insight that you say, huh, yeah, damn, you know, that's right. That's interesting, right? It doesn't mean you have to be, you know, chasing down buying a course after course after course. Sometimes all you got to do to learn something new is just to look at a thing and say, okay, all right, it works like that, or just meditating on a particular thing, subject, staring off into space, and knowledge will come to you just like that. You know, it's there already. You just gotta, you know, you gotta be quiet enough for it to come out. All right, last one, guys, is to, you know, be financially savvy, or at least wise. Don't just, you know, spend. Uh, your finances are a reflection of your, you know, your mental state, right? Your mental maturity. All it is a resource, and if you deplete your resources, what do you have? All right, and if you don't have the discipline to cultivate your resources and keep them, somebody else is going to take them. And you know, that's been the game all along, right? That's the goal, is to take your, just take. But it's your it's your responsibility to not allow that to happen. To spend wisely on what you need, right? I mean, just look at nature, right? The squirrels, right? Before the winter, they hoard all these nuts and stuff like that. They go out there and hoard because they know the winter's coming, right? Where the trees are not going to produce any kind of food or fruit or whatever. So they, you know, they hoard when it's available. They hoard it, right? So or they save it, you know, they store it. So that's how you have to be, right? And you also want to take your finances and find vehicles to invest them in, so you can grow. You can grow your finances as well, grow your money, so you can have some later, especially in your later years when you don't want to work anymore. Maybe you can't work anymore, right? So you know, you don't want to be one of those people, okay? And unfortunately, in certain communities, they're more of the consumers than the producers, okay? And there's reasons for that. I won't get into that. But we got to get out of that. We got to get out of that and become producers, okay? Anyway, guys, let's see. I didn't look at the chat. Alrighty. All right, guys. Hey, look, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I just wanted to drop that on you guys tonight, and I hope you got something out of it to take you into the 2024 and beyond. These are the building blocks that will help you succeed in whatever you set out to do. It always starts within. I don't care what you're going after. If you don't have the internal tools, or if you don't have the to build a foundation that your success will stand on, that success won't last. So come crumbling down. Anyway, guys, have a good one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Don't forget to go to calibrated.com and check out what we have. Have a good one.